Hey, Tom. Still connecting.
Hi, Ralph.
Sorry about all the confusion last week. I don't know. I think we were both on two different Zoom links at the same time because I was like hanging out and I was just telling everybody, no, I don't think I know anything to say today. And so when you were on the Zoom, and so sorry about that. But
It's okay.
I'm glad you're on. I've got something, anything you want to talk about, always, whenever. This is what showed up for me this morning and on last night. So I just wanted to like put it out there and then go from wherever it goes. So we're actually on my personal timeline on my Facebook because it's got more people, and I just think it's such an important time right now because it's getting pretty crazy out there. And one thing that happened to us, I won't divulge too much personal stuff about Jen, but some symptoms showed up that was like, ooh, I don't like that. And so I thought, man, I wish Tom lived in Bellingham, Washington, or do we just fly on over to West Hartford, Connecticut, or, we always do the Zoom thing, and then I work on Jen and all that sort of stuff. But I thought, it's so, I just kept thinking about, one of my dreams that I've had since way back when I first met you guys was Vancouver, British Columbia, for some reason, because it's beautiful and they got a giant park and there's a beautiful building. So I know the exact address that I could just see this place for us. And I was in San Diego and I was like, wow, yeah, the Medicineless Hospital, like IMT and Qigong and now everything else that we use and do, and now Matrix Energetics and Instant Miracle and all this stuff. And so I was like, it seems like it's really time for, and it does seem like a lot of old systems are crumbling. So that's part of it. And then I want to put all these guys in the field and just run them, into it. It's like an MD, PhD, David R. Hawkins, his book.
Awesome.
And all these guys, he had a beautiful, big, busy practice. He kept trying to like turn it off and it kept turning back on. And he brought the letting go process, which is like not new, it's in every spiritual tradition. And then Michael A. Singer, he just wanted to meditate and do that exact same process. He called it the surrender process. And he built a $1 billion company. And so then we've got Peng Ming, who had his medicinalist hospital in China, and people with incurable stuff were cured. And there's Luke Chan, who wrote this book, and some of their stories are in this book. And then Ming Tong Hu brought all that to the States. And I met him in San Diego, and when I met him, his whole life had been turned upside down, and he was doing things for $5 donations and 10, 15 people showing up. And he'd come from this medicinalist hospital, but now he's in Jalisco, New Mexico, and his land, the chicenter.com, I actually Zillowed it. Like, how did you get this? I didn't ask him directly, but it was bought. Somebody bought it. He bought it. Somebody else bought it for over $3 million. And I'm like, oh my God. He's got his medicinalist hospital out there in the northern New Mexico. And I've been there. And then we got Yogananda and Self-Realization Fellowship. And there was a guy, James Jesse Lyons, who showed up, who was a business guy that then became enlightened. And when Yogananda came back from a trip of, doing his PR and stuff around the country, gifted Yogananda what's now worth billions of dollars, the Self-Realization Fellowship in Encinitas, California, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And then we've been watching Star Wars, and what a story, the hero's journey story. And Yoda, what's his name, George Lucas, used this guy, Joseph Campbell, as the template for Yoda. And so he talks about the hero's journey. And then we've got, of course, Sharon Giammatteo, Tom Giammatteo. And you guys had this amazing structure around the whole world of clinics and doing healing work around the world. And so what I'm thinking is like, when you're in spirit, things can happen so fast. And matrix energetics is like another one, instant stuff. And Christian Michelson, he literally has a technique that he's taught me called instant miracle technique. And he went from food stamps to $5 million a year. And so my interest with all this is this, I think it's time it's already happening. This world is transforming. Healing it's like, you could call it the Great Reset, or you could call it like Mickey Willis says, this is the Great Awakening, man. These obstacles are like crumbling old systems, and all that old stuff that used to be, that were in place seem to be coming to light again. And I do believe light, darkness can't live in light. We were out at the mountain yesterday, or whenever it was, whatever today is. We were out at the mountain this week and getting our water from our friends, and they had wild harvested some mushrooms, and some of them were Ricci mushrooms, and they were cutting them up to dehydrate them to make tea that cures cancer. And so it's like, I was like, okay, it feels like it's time. And so my interest is like for one, how you and Sharon had, whatever it was, 14 clinics around the world. And, the interest of like, these people that did these things, it definitely wasn't just from hard work. It was like pure spirit. So my interest is bringing your healing work to the world, because it is time. And your thoughts on like how you did it. This hero journey is like, oh, we got it, and then crumble, and then we got it, and then crumble, and all these different versions of achieving and trying to achieve. And ultimately, I think it's about these challenges are about us becoming who we're here to become in this lifetime. And so that's my thoughts about like, because I just think healing it's time. I'm going to close this door because I hear people all over the place out there. So so lots of stuff kind of flooding to me right now, and I just want to hear what you think about stuff and what you guys did, because you guys created something big, and it didn't seem like you just like worked hard to get it.
It all fell into place very easily.
Yeah.
And it was the time then, and still waiting for the new time now that it falls back into place again, because I feel we have a really good model of health and well-being for a lot of the population and the healing that needs to go on in the world.
I tell you, you guys have the framework. IMT is the framework that bridges the mystical and the medical. It's like,
well, I want to invite you and everybody else that we're actually having a physical class starting Saturday on the introduction of IMT through myofascial release and diagnostics.
An in-person class.
Yep, we have 6 or 7 students already for it.
So West Hartford, Connecticut.
Yep, and it's the beginning of the school year for us here. And so we're helping people get here to start to understand how to touch. And that's one of my proponents is, Ralph, that I don't know how to teach touch over the internet.
Yeah,
I know I could have you put hands on places, but it's still not that in-person lesson piece that I'm really seeking. And so if you can help me manifest how we do that better in the future, that's also another
let me
place.
put the link in here to like touch.
And then I also just emailed you, Ralph, to both of your emails, the white paper for how to stay healthy during flu season and up until 2012. There's all the supplements on that and everything else. So, and there's body work on there too for everybody.
Wow, let me go grab it. I'm going to put it all in here. But let's see, how do I do this? Let's see, www.imtwellness.com. And so imtwellnesscenter.com for that class. Is there another link that would be better to send them to, or a phone number? Or
nope. Then click on education and it opens up with the calendar and the school process and everything there.
Class this weekend. Okay, there it is. It popped up. Okay, and I'm going to go get that in the email. Yeah, what do you think about we're in that group Atomic Success Secrets. It's our group healing for entrepreneurs and other people that are healers or want to be healers, or moms and dads, or people that just want to do the practical and the mystical to get what they want in life. Um, and what do you, and a lot of them want to be doing something in the healing world. Of course, the entrepreneurs. When you think about like how it happened with you and Sharon, and it just kind of happened, and you were like worldwide, and this is like, it's a theme that's happened with lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a new year. Like Yom Kippur was just the other day. And so it's the new year for the Jewish population, and it's a new form coming in. There's a lot of stress in the world about, do we vaccinate, don't we vaccinate? So there's a lot of that pressure out there. And the old ways are not working, like you said before. So we have to come up with not newer ways, but let go of the old regimen, especially what we learned in the United States is being healthy and those pieces. So the ultimate goal is to be able to have conferences and centers for IMT all over the world again, where people can come and get most of the medical care done with, and their health and well-being done, and to optimize doctors and surgeons so that they're doing the best they can for people at the same time.
Yeah, because sometimes you need a surgery and sometimes you need a medical intervention, but it'd be really cool to have the IMT model to get an
To
assessment.
support and help heal that along the way. Yes, it's very, that's our ultimate goal, is to promote healing through any different other medicine, and to share with people those things.
Yeah, because we have all these things that were in the past, like homeopathy and like those mushroom medicines that my friend uses, and qigong and all this energetic healing. It'd be so cool to, I mean, it's happening. It's just IMT is a cool model to like assess. Like it could be cool to assess medically, if you have an MRI or a CAT scan or an ultrasound or lab test. But then it would be really cool to then correlate it with an IMT model, because we have that diagnostics of the mapping, which it sounds like you're going to teach some in the class this weekend. Yeah, I'm just curious, like, these different people that I mentioned earlier, so much stuff just like happened real fast to bring it to light. And it seemed like it happened. I mean, I met you in February of 2000, and you guys were already a thing. You had a few centers, but then it exploded onto the scene. When you think back like then, and what were some of the, do you know how that happened like that? Just seemed to happen out of the spirit, or how did it happen?
If you look back with today's technology, it was word of mouth.
Yeah.
It was before the internet, and people were really seeking, and physical therapy didn't have their doctoral programs
Yeah.
evolved. And I really feel that the difference in the education back then was, again, word of mouth. People were getting really good results. And it wasn't like we could develop this. And, actually in 1996, Sharon and I went to, we hired a lawyer, we hired an accountant that were helping us with our stuff, and said, we want to grow bigger. And they laughed at us.
Oh.
And they said, why would somebody pay for when they get information for free?
You get information for free.
Right. Well, why would you want to teach people and work yourself out of business, type of thing? And then we said, well, there's just too many sick people here. And we always want to give. And, by giving, we will receive what we need in this world to survive, type of thing. And that's always been our philosophy, to do that type of thing. So,
and so you went to the lawyer, and then what happened?
They laughed at us, and we met another person that said, I think that's possible. And he was the man that was able to hook us up and, say, we had this dream, and he'd find ways to help us manifest it, like be able to get the the lease on the buildings and figure out how to pay for everything and just move it forward in a systematic way and make sure that we had enough income at the same time to generate that process at the same time too. And what I'm hoping to do this year is to start that, because we had a wonderful summer school this year. And so I'm going to start to invite practitioners back. We started off just having practitioners come and do a weekend of healing themselves, and we would help guide them. So I want to develop one weekend where we could do advanced skills for people who've already run the work and can't find anybody in their area to do it with them, type of thing. And then we started off in one room with just Sharon and I working together. And the month after that, we were so busy, we had to invite somebody else in and somebody else in. And then we started saying, hey, Ralph, you got skills. Why don't you come and work with us for a week? And we'd, have you do your skill set level.
Wow.
And it would just grew. So all those are plans for the future.
Oh, that feels awesome. What happens, like, I just tried to like put your IMT Wellness Center PDF on my a little link in my ClickFunnels, and it said you have been blocked from ClickFunnels. and so then I went and looked, and I still have my website up there. I still get in. I went on ClickFunnels and was like, well, I still access ClickFunnels, but for some reason I tried to put the PDF on, and I'll have to go figure that part out. I'll put it in the link, the comments later. When you run up against blocks, like, the first guy said no, and the second guy said, well, that's a possibility. Did you guys just know you had something special and you were going to figure this out no matter what? Or
it felt path and purpose, and it still feels like a path and a purpose to help do this. And this information is wonderful, and I'm the caretaker of it for this time, and I'd like to make sure that it stays on forever.
Me too.
And so we're managing how to, the world keeps changing, right? And so I'm glad that we're a little bit smaller now. We were just talking with another clinician who works out in the Oregon area, and a very famous international doctor there.
Wow.
And all these facilities are sort of collapsing and need to rebuild. So I feel we're on the crux of getting there, but it's still a tough time.
Yeah. Do you when you're doing the work to get there, and then you have obstacles, and then you're doing the work to get there, and do you feel like you're looking to the future, or like Eckhart Tolle says, do your work, stay in the present moment? How do you do any of that kind of stuff, like stay in the present moment while you work towards a future goal? How do you do that? Or do you find yourself like just waiting for this thing to happen? And it's like, yeah.
Well, you keep putting out feelers, and when the right set of people are going to come along the way and take a portion of it to support that piece, that's where I hope to bring it. And we've talked about how to manage that, and you've honed your skills, and then I hope to jump on the bandwagon with you on your skill set in the future, bringing that forward, type of thing.
Yeah, I've got somebody that's an amazing person. She's come from a very crazy past, and now she's not even 30, and she's a multi-millionaire, multi-tens of million, maybe $100 million millionaire, and she invests in companies, and those investments then invest in other companies, and she's got a big nonprofit for helping kids, and she's looking for things to invest in. The question,
yes, send her my way and we can talk.
Yeah,
so I'm always looking.
Send her your way. I'm going to send her your way. The trick with that kind of stuff is to not be pushy, and not be like, hey, let me pitch you this deal, because she gets pitched deals all the time. But that would be cool. Or Tony Robbins, or some of those guys. He almost died a year and a half ago, and He didn't. He started going from vegetarian to eating tuna, lots of tuna, and he couldn't dump the mercury. He had that gene that makes it where he couldn't dump mercury, and he bled out through his esophagus. Almost lost lost a lot of blood. And when I saw him a year and a half ago, he wasn't his jump around regular self, but he was still lots of spirit. He just had to like not jump around. And I'm going to see him again in another few weeks at Funnel Hacking Live. He's the keynote speaker again. So we'll see how he is physically. It's the kind of thing that any of those guys could push a button and get this thing rocking.
Well, we're ready. We're prepared. We've done it before. We got all the structure.
Yeah.
And it's just waiting. And just like you said, why did your ClickFunnels fail at this time? And if you've done it 100 times
Yeah, I'll figure
before.
that out. That was a weird little glitch. I probably put in the wrong file type or something weird. So I'll figure that out. But it's funny to see something. And right now, my website, ralphhavens.com, is down. And because I wanted to get out of GoDaddy because they changed over to Microsoft for their email provider, and it was really cumbersome. Plus, I just thought, Microsoft, Bill Gates, I want out. And plus, I've got ClickFunnels anyway, so I thought, well, it's time not to renew. I could save myself a few $1,000s. So I started down that road, but my tech guy was sick and didn't get back to me. So I just thought, well, I'm going to wait till GoDaddy expires my ralphhavens.com, and then I'll just buy it through ClickFunnels. I didn't realize that I could have just had them transfer it. But now that I've let it expire, I've got to wait like 3 weeks. And so I'm that website is down, and next Sunday my email goes down. And so it's been a process in letting go. But
Time to transform, buddy.
yeah, these obstacles can be the biggest transformation. Do you
do
feel
it
like
easier and
do you feel like you're in training through this, like it seems, you have this wonderful system to bring to the world, and it's coming to the world, and it used to be in the world way bigger, and it's coming with the next version. How do you feel about all the obstacles and the learning and all that stuff?
Well, I would like to introduce that Mercury just went into its shadows.
What does that mean? Oh my God, it sounds
retrograde, and it will be there on the 27th even more. So this weekend was just supporting people. I had more calls of urgency than I've ever had in a long time. Chaos.
I feel like this is a big month. It just feels really big. I mean, the stuff in the news would make anybody think, yeah, this is a big month.
Right. So transition, the rules are changing every minute. I have their therapists and doctors calling and saying, well, my state just told me I have to do this or I'm gonna lose something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of frightened people out there.
Yeah.
And just, it's like, can you hold your breath a little bit longer and watch, and hold your breath a little bit longer and watch. So we just, Nancy and I just got off the phone with one person that's, was really, okay, my hospital is saying I have to get this by this date. And I gave her some instructions on how to go to human resources and stuff. And basically they basically said, well, yes, it was told that you would lose your job. Now it's not told you you're going to lose your job. So.
Oh, good. So something shifted. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. So many people are being pushed into this thing, and it's like, do we have choices? I think we always have choices. And yeah, I think we're all going to come out of this. And it's going to be very, I think this is the biggest time of our lives. Yeah. Well, I've got my, what seems to be my thing is to reach out to my friend who is a multi-millionaire. And all these entrepreneurs, they're very savvy, and they've seen a lot of people pitch them, and so you want to be a real human, which I tend to be. It's like, but when you want something for somebody, you know how it is. Like somebody says, I know what you need, and you're like, dude, back off. So
right.
I'll play with that a little bit and see. I showed Jen earlier today her pitch. She's got this really wonderful way to make money with your money. I can send it to you if you want. And I showed it to Jen, and Jen has got her hair raised up because she's like, because she keeps me away from what's called shiny object syndrome, which is, hey, let me pay a bunch of money to this next guy, and for something cool. So she's she got that one. I think it's just gonna. I said, well, at least read her message and see what you think. It's okay if it's not, but I'm gonna put a little feeler out there and just see. Like you and I, and you taught me, and you're like, you mastered this ability to see stuff. And we can see when people are not doing so well. And of course, so many of us have that skill. You can tell if somebody's kind of having a hard time, but you've got a skill to say, oh yeah, you've got a physical thing, or there's some big other thing going on. And so it's easy to want to fix everybody or heal them all up. But it's their choice too. But I'll reach out. Yeah, anything else that you have for us during these crazy times? I mean,
well, I'd still watch.
So West Hartford, Connecticut. So tell us about that, just so it's like really clear.
The class starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and it's called our myofascial release. And it's about our yellow book over here.
Awesome.
All the protocols out of our yellow book called myofascial release. And it's the first time for a lot of people we're exploring touch, right? How does something feel? Do you ever notice that when you're rubbing your arm, one way is tighter than the other? And that perception. So I was amazed when I first graduated physical therapy school in 1987. I was taking these manual therapy courses, and they took a human hair and they put it under a page of a phone book. And they were asking you to try to find that piece of paper, that hair.
Yeah.
And that was a little difficult for me. And the man boasted I could find it under 10 pages of this phone book. So how do you develop your skill to feel that little bump through 10 pages of a phone book?
Yeah.
And Nancy and I play with that once in a while, and I think I can do about 30 pages now, 40 pages of that same focusing on what hair was there. But that's a whole new way of getting into touch. So myofascial release, we learn we learn a very basic indirect, or we call it direction of ease, of does the tissue move better to the right or to the left? Which one's easier? And we give the person confidence in seeing if they're correct or not. And then it's learning how to perceive that, and then watching what happens when you know that knowledge at the same time.
Yeah, and I had taken a lot of the Upledger stuff that was that Jean-Pierre Barral work, and it was so intricate and involved, and you had to be really good. And then myofascial release, your version came along, and it was like so much simpler and can go very deep with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And less invasive. Like you didn't feel like somebody pushed you into something.
Yeah.
So
that's be cool. 9 o'clock Saturday morning, West Hartford,
West Hartford,
US
12 North Main Street,
No.
The IMT Wellness Center. And
what's the address?
This is the 12 North Main Street, IMT Wellness Center. And so it's a beautiful thing that I love to share. And the process is when you're trying to learn this and you don't have a coach there to really show you what is possible, or what, how are you perceiving it, or how you taking the words in, it's quite difficult. We can definitely show it on a video, and then somebody says, well, this isn't worth it. It is that very subtle that we like to guide people individually into that story.
Yeah.
And Ralph, that's about, when you learn that piece from us, it's about 80% of the rest of the work falls into line. We always are using that concept 80% of the time to learn the 300,000 different other techniques that we're using. Always goes back to the first simple, does it feel easier this way or that way?
Yeah.
And can you trust that for yourself?
Yeah. it can get, and it can go and take, for all the advanced kind of practitioners, it can take you to very interesting places. Like I was talking to a physical therapist here in town years ago. I'd done some in-services about IMT at Bellingham Physical Therapy, and one of the therapists was like, wow, this one chiropractor in town says that he can feel, and he mentioned some deep subcortical structure. And I was like, well, you could do that too, man. And so I kind of showed him some ways to like look at the anatomy book and then feel into things just to feel the heart. And so it's like you can get some very advanced skills with this. And I remember once I was up in LA when the Center IMT in LA was there, and a practitioner was working on me somewhere around in some other part of my body. And she goes, oh yeah, this is happening up in your head. And so I put my hands on my head, and it's like, sure enough, that was the rhythm. That was what was happening in my head. So it can get kind of like out there so that you can feel stuff, even if it's not quite under your hands even.
Well, it's a change in reality, but it's a really good change in reality at the same time.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in that, and Tom's great at taking you from wherever you are to learning stuff that can help your family right away. Literally, it's the kind of thing you could put your hands on your kid and do something that could make them feel really good, change some stuff. So yeah, that'd be cool. Got to get my private jet and get on over there. So
Yes, please come.
so yeah, so good to see you, Tom. And yeah, we'll just keep doing these. And
You too, Ralph.
you have ever want to say or get out to the world or tell people about, I'll send it to the, we're with a lot of entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs. And I realized as I've been helping more of them clear the anxiety and fear when it comes to selling stuff to their dream customers, I'm realizing, oh my goodness, they're people too, and they have the same chronic illnesses and conditions, and it gets in the way of them doing what they want to do. So this is Tom is basically a healer, and if you want some help healing stuff, go check it out.
Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'll see you next week. And
Okay, buddy.
We'll keep rocking it out. I'm going to talk to my friend and just do a little reach out. Let's see what happens.
All right. When you ever get time, give me a text and we can chat on that. Okay.
Okay, awesome. I will. Okay. All right. Bye, you guys.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. All right, you guys. So yeah, Tom Giammatteo, one of my longtime teachers, colleagues, friends, and yeah, if you're in West Hartford, Connecticut, if you're on the East Coast and you want to experience integrated manual therapy, and go check it out, imtwellnesscenter.com. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning, 12 North Main Street, West Hartford, Connecticut, 9 a.m. this Saturday. And there's the links. Reach out to me if you can't find stuff, and join us. If you've got something that you would like to heal, let me know. Let me know. It's been our world for 36 years, and we can let you know what we can help you with. And if we can't help you, we can point you to what can work. All right, you guys, let's get out there. Let's heal yourself and heal the world.